Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 440.
On Now You Know. So Elon said Tesla plans to build several thousand Optimus robots this year and possibly 100,000 Optimuses, or Optimi.
Sigh. Nemesis. What's the plural on that?
Is it Optimuses?
Whatever.
Yeah, comment down below. That'll happen next year. And this new jobs listing from the Tesla careers page appears to reinforce that.
So these are all jobs in Fremont. Interesting. I kind of thought that they'd be Giga Texas.
My guess is that since Optimus engineers are headquartered at Tesla's Palo Alto property, that Optimus will start production at Tesla's Fremont factory, and then after those production lines have been developed and tested, it'll then be brought to Giga Texas and other gigafactories. Carissa Thien, who is Tesla's senior sourcer, says, "My team is turning TeslaBot into a reality. We're building TeslaBot in our Fremont factory in California, and we're looking for engineers up for the challenge of getting this product ramped up for high volume production."
And we're going to talk more about this in the Patreon poll this week, so stay tuned for that.
So Neuralink posted a blog news update last week telling us that there are now 3 people with telepathy implants. Noland Arbaugh, who we know about since last January of 2024, and now 2 newer patients, Alex and Brad. Neuralink says all 3 individuals are unable to move their arms and legs, Noland and Alex due to spinal cord injury and Brad due to ALS. They each volunteered to participate in Neuralink's Prime study, a clinical trial to demonstrate that the link is safe and useful in the daily lives of people living with paralysis. Combined, the Prime study participants have now had their links implanted for over 670 days and used telepathy for over 4,900 hours.
So here's a chart of each of their hours of independent usage. Blue is Nolan's usage, yellow is Alex, and purple is Brad.
So remember, telepathy is Neuralink's hardware software that allows these patients to control software with their mind.
Your head and your mind and your brain, too.
So here is Alex, Neuralink's second patient, cutting out a latch that he designed in CAD using his BCI, or brain-computer interface.
Alex says, "I was a very creative person before my accident. After my accident, I wasn't really able to do that, and it really hindered my drive to create things. Having the BCI allows me to push the boundaries of what I can create."
And here's Alex using telepathy to control his phone while at a tractor auction with his family. Alex also became the first patient to enroll in Neuralink's Convoy, or Control of Assistive Devices via Brain-Computer Interface Technology study. This is a clinical trial exploring the feasibility of using Link to control robotic arms.
Here's Alex strumming a guitar with his Convoy interface for the first time.
Alex says, "It's such an amazing feeling being able to go from a concept to an actual working piece of equipment that does exactly what I want. I want everyone, disabled and non-disabled, to have the desire to create something new. Hopefully I can inspire somebody to make a positive change in someone's life."
So he was controlling a robot arm with his brain.
Exactly. And then there's Brad, who because of his late-stage ALS is unable to speak or voluntarily move any part of his body besides his eyes and the corners of his mouth. This is Brad attending his child's soccer game. Brad says, "I went to my child's soccer game and the referee thought I was sleeping. I was actually able to talk outside. I'm actually thinking about traveling outside the city metro for the first time in 5 years."
Brad went on to say, "The most significant thing that happened this week will sound strange to you. I got to use the computer on the porch and it worked."
Neuralink has active trials in the US, Canada, and the UK. You can join their patient registry on the Neuralink website at Neuralink.com. And also they have open roles on their career page. And as they say, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to work at Neuralink.
So no longer is it just one guy with the brain chip implanted in his head. And now we're starting to see some new capabilities coming out of what Neuralink can do. And it's amazing.
It is. And thank you to Birch Living for sponsoring today's video.
Birch is running their President's Day early access sale right now. So head to birchliving.com/nowyouknow to check them out.
Birch Living makes mattresses that are crafted with responsibly sourced materials such as organic cotton, organic wool, and 100% natural latex.
For years, we've talked about how much we love our Birch mattresses.
I ordered the Birch Luxe Natural Mattress, a premium upgrade to their original Birch Natural Mattress. Now, it didn't take long for me to feel an improvement in my sleep quality compared to my old mattress. My ongoing back issues feel better thanks to the pressure relief construction. 79% of those who suffered from back pain, by the way, with their old mattress, saw a reduction reduction in pain with their Birch mattress.
I love how comfortable my mattress is, but it was also important for me to choose a mattress made with organic and natural materials. I can sleep easy knowing I'm avoiding harmful off-gassing that can result from polyurethane foams.
Unlike other brands, Birch mattresses don't contain fiberglass, which can be harmful to your health. Birch has its own manufacturing facility, which is entirely free from products containing fiberglass.
Birch mattresses are GOTS and GreenGuard Gold certified, meaning that they're free of any polyurethane-based foams and harsh, unnecessary chemicals and pollutants.
Birch mattresses never contain cheap, dangerous fiberglass. Instead, they use 100% organic wool, harnessing its natural flame resistance.
The Birch Luxe Natural Mattress has several third-party certifications, including Fair Trade certified. Birch partners with Fair Trade certified factories and use only trade organic cotton across the entire Birch brand.
Unlike synthetic mattresses, the wool in these mattresses makes it hypoallergenic, both allergen and mildew resistant.
If you feel hot when you sleep, the organic materials can help to keep you cool and regulate your body temperature.
And you don't have to take our word for it, though. In a recent survey, 93% of recent customers would recommend Birch to a friend, and 87% saw an improvement in their sleep quality.
And it's really easy to buy online with in-home setup and removal options. Birch delivers your mattress right to your door for free in the US. Comes rolled up in a box and it's super easy to set up.
They also offer in-home setup and removal to make your buying experience as convenient as possible.
With your Birch mattress, you get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 27-year warranty.
Each Birch mattress comes with 2 of their EcoRest pillows made from recycled materials. They're breathable and better for the environment.
We both love our Birch mattresses and we think you would too.
So Birch is running their President's Day early access sale right now. So check it out at birchliving.com/nowyouknow to get 20% off your mattress plus 2 free pillows.
All seemed lost for Tesla in Sweden back in October of 23 when the IF Metal Union initiated a strike against Tesla.
Or at least this is what the legacy media would have had us believe. Tesla had refused to sign a collective bargaining agreement, which led to a series of conflicts and sympathy strikes that they hoped would affect Tesla's operations in Sweden.
But the Tesla Model Y still became the best-selling car in Sweden in 2023 and again in 2024.
And now many companies like ABB that had at first sided with the unions and refused to buy Teslas are now coming back to buying Teslas again.
And again, and again.
ABB's Swedish press manager, Christine Gunnarsson, said in a statement, "Our conclusion was that Tesla's employment conditions are good enough, that is comparable to or better than the relevant collective agreements."
Tesla sold 21,770 Model 3s and Ys in Sweden last year, which is about 1,370 more than they sold in Sweden in 2023. So it's not over yet. IF Metal is still initiating their strike, even though you have companies like ABB who are going like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They are useless to you.
Every quarter, publicly traded companies in the U.S. have to file a Form 10-Q with the SEC that updates investors about the company's financials and status.
And at the end of every fiscal year, they have to file what's called a 10-K, showing their financials and statuses for the year.
In this latest 10-K from Tesla, we found a few interesting tidbits, so let's get into them in no particular order.
Tesla said that 92% of Tesla employees have been given the opportunity to take part in the Tesla stock ownership program as part of their reward program.
That's not bad. In 2024, over 13,000 Tesla employees worldwide, 80% of whom represent Tesla's frontline workforce, took advantage of opportunities to advance their career within the company. So that means a lot of people who are working on the line get to move up and become managers.
More than 2/3, 68% of their managers have been promoted from internal, non-managerial positions, and 45% of their management team has been with Tesla for over 5 years.
Every year, Tesla hires approximately 4,000 university and community college students globally for internships across all business groups. From day one, their interns contribute to meaningful projects, oftentimes leading to full-time positions upon completion of their internships.
Tesla has a military fellowship program that offers exiting military service members corporate industry experience during their transition in service. The program aims to convert high-performing individuals to full-time roles and create a veteran talent pipeline for opportunities across Tesla North America.
Tesla has a manufacturing development program designed to provide graduating high school seniors with the financial resources, coursework, and experience they need to start a successful manufacturing career at Tesla. Through 2024, Tesla expanded the program to new campuses and hired over 800 graduates. This year, Tesla plans to hire over 1,000 participants across their factories.
Tesla launched a couple new employee benefit programs in 2024, the Engineering Development Program that educates early career engineers in controls engineering, enhancing their knowledge of high-demand technologies for manufacturing. And Tesla's Education Assistance Program offers employees access to tuition-free and partially commercially funded learning opportunities, including degrees for in-demand careers, short-form certificates, and programs for high school completion or English language learning. Launched in February of 2024, the program has provided funding to over 5,000 actively enrolled learners and over 1,300 graduates, acquiring valuable skills in manufacturing, engineering, artificial intelligence, supply chain management, and leadership.
Number 8, Tesla's cash stayed about the same from 2023 at $16.2 billion.
I thought Tesla gained a bunch of cash in 2024.
They did, billions more, but it's actually, well, it's a bit in the weeds. So we'll discuss it this week on our Patreon Investor Club bonus story so we can really get in there and tell you how it works. But another thing we learned from Tesla's 10K is that Tesla paid $1.8 billion in income taxes in 2024 with an effective tax rate of 20%.
And Elon posted on X, tax reform is needed, too many loopholes.
But some people want to claim that Tesla paid no tax.
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Melanie DiRigio said Tesla paid zero in federal income tax last year and all of these years. Tesla reported $6.7 billion in profit in those years. But Insurrection Barbie said people who don't understand how our tax code works don't need to advertise to everybody that they don't know how our tax code works. Tesla paid no income tax because there are A, accelerated depreciation rules for companies that make massive investments in assets, B, tax breaks related to executive stock options, and C, tax credits for EVs which are championed by your party. Tesla employs 125,000 people. If you take 70,000 as an average salary for said employees, that's a payroll of $8.8 billion. So Tesla paid around $673 million on their behalf into Social Security and Medicare. Oh, and Musk personally paid $11 billion in taxes last year. Facts without proper context are propaganda.
Why did they lie to us?
And Elon said, yeah, Tesla losses were high for many years, so you get to carry it forward. Supermajority of profits from production and sales were overseas, not in the US. But the point I'm making is that we need tax reform.
All right, it's time to talk about another of Elon's X's, the Model X. Tesla just raised the price of the Model X in the US, both trims, the all-wheel drive and the Plaid, by $5,000.
Wait, the all-wheel drive was $79,990, so it qualified for the federal tax credit of $7,500 off.
Yep, and now at $84,990, it doesn't. The Plaid never did, but now it's $99,990.
But now Tesla is offering free supercharging again?
Yep, Elon said back in 2020, remember, that free supercharging would not come back to any Tesla vehicle, but they have brought it back. But the incentive is not transferable. It ends when you sell or transfer the vehicle.
So why is Tesla doing this? It's essentially raising the price in the US by $12,500 for the all-wheel drive.
I mean, my guess is because Tesla needs to improve the margin on this model. I mean, inflation has taken its toll on parts and materials. Tesla sold about 35,000 Model X's last year. And so if the Model X isn't bringing in enough profit, then why take up all that production space at Fremont? This may reduce sales, but it's still one of Tesla's flagship models, and it is truly an amazing car. Elon did say in 2019, I mean, they're very expensive, made in low volume. To be totally frank, we're continuing to make them more for sentimental reasons than anything else. They're really of minor importance to the future.
So do you think that Tesla would ever stop making the Model X? Comment down below.
I think it's possible. I mean, if they need factory production space and they're going to make like the Robo-Van, maybe they would just, enough of that.
I mean, they're making, what, $35,000 a year? That's actually pretty good in the world of EVs, especially in the United States. So I don't think they need to stop production. But yeah, maybe they don't need to sell quite as many and they'd be happy with a bigger profit margin.
Well, and I think a lot of people forget it's the only car in the world with these doors. I mean, it really is special.
They're called Falcon Wing doors. They are not gull wings. That is different.
Okay, I actually think this could be one of the biggest stories this week in the EV world.
What story is that?
The fact that Rivian will now sell its commercial vans starting at $79,000 to any company's fleet of any size.
We already reported on this last week.
Yeah, but now it's official. Rivian now says they will sell their RCV, or Rivian Commercial Vehicle, which is the van that a lot of us have seen delivering Amazon packages. Well, now they will sell them to any company of any size fleet, including a fleet of one.
So this is going to be the perfect van life vehicle.
Well, hang on.
I mean, no stinky diesel, a nice big cargo area that can be renovated into a kitchen. I mean, beds, maybe some solar on the roof.
Hang on.
I mean, it's got that big battery, so plenty of juice for all sorts of appliances.
Hang on.
You could probably even, use the driver cabin HVAC system to keep the cargo area heated or cooled. This is going to be great.
Hang on, okay? It's not for individuals.
Why not? You said that they're willing to sell as few as one van.
To companies. Rivian says they will only sell it to companies, not individuals.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Hey, Bernie. He's my business attorney. Hey, Bernie, I'd like you to set up an LLC for me. Let's call it My Electric Van Life LLC. Thank you. Problem solved.
Okay, well, that might be all that it takes. But what I was thinking is that there are many businesses out there, large and small, that would benefit from such a vehicle. I mean, from florists to electricians, plumbers, framing crews, and carpenters to carpet installers. Pretty much any business that uses a van could benefit from the lower maintenance and fuel costs. Because look, these are the specs here. These are pre-upfit costs, but I would point out that even though the ranges seem a little bit low, for many commercial uses, these ranges will work fine.
Also, the RCV 500 would qualify, I believe, for the $7,500 federal tax credit. So you're potentially looking at $72,400.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if Rivian's smart enough to see your little workaround with your LLC, but if you're into van life, this could be that.
Is it that they get a bigger tax credit if they sell to businesses? Is that why they will only do it that way?
I don't know.
Only way to make it profitable for them?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because it does seem like this would be a good, I know that they'd only sell like a few thousand a year, but
why not?
That's pretty good in the world of commercial vans.
Yeah.
The other thing to think about is what the competition is. Right now, I believe the Dodge Ram ProMaster series
and the Mercedes-Benz and the Ford Transit.
But I mean, if you take a look at especially like the ProMaster, it is a very expensive vehicle to keep maintained. I don't know why. It's like they designed it to be expensive just for
the dealers.
For the dealers. So this could be a huge step up in terms of maybe not sticker price, but in terms of operational cost.
Well, and look at the 700. Look how big that thing is. I mean, that is perfect for carpet installers. You know those times when you see vans driving down the street with carpet sticking out the back? They're not going to have to stick out the back in this van.
That's true.
All right, it's time for the Cybertruck Roundup. The Cybertruck Roundup. So this may seem hard for some people to believe, but starting in July last year, the Tesla Cybertruck not only became the United States' best-selling electric pickup truck, the Cybertruck also became the U.S.'s third best-selling EV, just behind its siblings, the Model 3 and the Model Y.
In fact, according to the California New Car Dealers Association, the Cybertruck was California's 6th best-selling electric car in 2024.
Unfortunately for Ford, though, their electric pickup truck, the F-150 Lightning, was ranked 13th on the CNCDA's list. Ford sold just 1,907 F-150 Lightning units in January, which is a 15% year-over-year decrease. Sorry, Ford.
Sorry, guys.
So we reported on this a while back, but now it's official.
Yeah, last week Tesla officially confirmed that Cybertruck now qualifies for the $7,500 federal tax credit here in the US. If you get the $79,990 Cybertruck and you take off the $7,500 right off the sticker price, like you can do, the starting price is now $72,490 with the credit.
The $7,500 federal tax credit now applies to 8 of Tesla's vehicles.
Yeah, no longer is the Model X on the list, so it's no longer Xy. But of course, there is the viral Cybertruck crash that's going around.
Yes, according to the driver, the Cybertruck was on Full Self-Driving 13.
Jonathan Challenger says, so my Tesla Cybertruck crashed into a curb and then a light post on V13.2.4. Thank you, Tesla, for engineering the best passive safety in the world. I walked away without a scratch. It failed to merge out of a lane that was ending. There was no one on my left, and made no attempt to slow down or turn until it had already hit the curb. Big fail on my part, obviously. Don't make the same mistake I did. Pay attention. It can happen. I follow Tesla and FSD pretty closely and haven't heard of any accident on version 13 at all before this happened. It is easy to get complacent now. Don't.
So thank you, Jonathan, for being honest.
And I think he has a really important message as we transition from FSD supervised, that's where it's a driver assistance feature and you have to pay attention, to hopefully soon FSD unsupervised. We must all pay attention as drivers.
And to the fuddy press, accidents do happen.
Yeah, if they were to report on all of the ICE car accidents every day caused by texting, sleeping, drunk, or just plain being bad at driving each day, well, there aren't enough hours in the day to do that because there are over 4,000 auto accidents on average every day worldwide.
And I mean, what it really does sound like to me is that Jonathan was absolutely not paying any attention at all. And while it's scary to think that the Cybertruck would, basically drive up over a curb and into a pole, it was at night. The conditions did not look perfect, and he really should have been paying attention.
Yeah. And thank you to the Cybertruck Owners Club because they help support the show and they have the greatest amount of forum and news that you're ever going to find. So go over there and sign up for it, even if you don't have a Cybertruck, even if you're just thinking about it, or you just want to read really cool stories about what's going on in the world of Cybertruck. Thank you so much, Cybertruck Owners Club. We now go to our buddy Will from the Tesla Jigsaw YouTube channel. Will is about to show us a cool new EV company with a cool product.
Take it away, Will.
Hi Zach and Jesse, it's me again. I've got a charge cube behind me. This thing's full of recycled old electric vehicle batteries, and this thing can be taken to different locations around the UK, dropped off, and charge up to 12 electric vehicles at a time. This place is fascinating.
This is Charge Cube cubed, the little 3.
Cool.
So inside here we have our large inverter, which this will do 63 amp 3-phase, so quite powerful. It's 50 kilowatts. Then got some really clever VCUs that basically do all the communication with the Tesla batteries that are hidden just in there. 2 Tesla batteries in here giving us 150 kilowatt hours. So we can stack 6 of them up inside of here. Then either side we've actually got a charger. So we have a 7 kilowatt charger embedded in each side of the cube. And then just here, and you've got your connections and everything inside there. So these plug into each of your chargers basically.
Yeah.
And if we go the bigger charge cube, you basically have multiples of these to daisy chain off to the really cool pavilions, which I'll show you now. And then up there is a full liquid cooling system. So the batteries are all liquid cooled with glycol, so we basically run the pumps every 10 minutes just to make sure there's no hot spots within the batteries. We have the pavilion. These are my favourite because it's basically like a miniature sea container. You've got a little LED light, charger either side, daisy chain in, and then basically you can just plug this straight into your Tesla. That is called Bruce, is it?
It's Bruce, yeah.
Yeah, and literally just plug it in.
Sweet.
And away you go.
That's
I can hit that
amazing.
button.
And you've got a little channel behind you for the...
Yeah, so the channel runs along there. It means it's semi-permanent, but it's all classed as temporary. So from a planning permission point of view, no planning permission required. So this is 7 kilowatt charging at the moment on this.
Yep.
But we can go up to the bigger chargers with the CCS and stuff in other variations of the cube in the future. Yeah, so website is chargecube.com, but it's cube with a Q. And if you head on there, there's loads of information about Charge Cube. There's also some brochures on there about a couple of different versions we offer. Then you can just reach out to the team here and get in contact and talk a little bit more detail about how Charge Cubes works.
Best of luck with all the Charge Cube future. So yeah, nice one, Chris. Cheers. It's good, isn't it? If you want to know more about this, there's a full interview on my YouTube channel, Tesla Jigsaw. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Will. I urge everyone to subscribe to Will's channel, Tesla Jigsaw.
Yeah, Will's channel is fantastic. So what do you think about the Charge Cube? That's cube with a Q that Will just showed us, Jess.
I think that it's interesting. It's really kind of a niche EV product. Tesla has a very similar thing with their mobile supercharger. I think that for special events where there's going to be lots of EVs, this is a really good idea. And I think that it actually might morph into more of a Band-Aid solution for a lot of places that need EV charging, like a lot of it, but don't have the infrastructure yet for it. I think that this could basically be that stopgap where people are able to charge up their cars before they're able to get like huge electrical lines coming out to where they need to be.
I want to watch Will's full video on this because I want to know, like, what's their plan? Are they going to take like smashed up Teslas or like old Teslas? Because there's a lot of Teslas like Sparky. Remember Sparky? Who's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Battery's still fine, but like in a few years, it'll probably be lower state of charge and could go into one of these.
And the longer you own a vehicle, the higher the chances are that you get it into an accident. And a lot of times those vehicles are going to be totaled, but the batteries are still going to be perfectly fine.
So the Trump administration announced last Thursday that all federal funding for EV chargers is now on hold, effective immediately.
You may remember that the Biden administration signed into law the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in 2021.
$7.5 billion was appropriated specifically for the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, or NEVI, $2.5 billion of which was specifically earmarked for EV chargers. So far, $3.3 billion has already gone out the door to the states. By the end of 2024, there were 126 public charging ports across 31 NEVI stations in 9 states.
Okay, so that's $26 million per charging port? Not even station?
And let's be honest, that's not good. I mean, if Tesla paid $26 million per charging port, then Tesla would have spent $1.7 trillion for their supercharger network.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it would have cost Tesla $1.7 trillion if they spent what the federal government has been spending to open a measly 126 public charging ports. I've researched many sources that estimate that Tesla today spends about $20,000 per supercharger stall. So that's 1,300 times less than the federal government spends on a charging port. So going back to the Trump administration pausing the funding, this is the letter signed last Thursday by Emily Biondi, the Associate Administrator at the Office of Planning, Environment, and Realty at the Department of Transportation under the Federal Highway Administration, basically saying that they are pausing the funding of EV chargers until they can reevaluate if the money is being spent wisely. The letter says the FHWA aims to have updated draft NEVI formula guidance published for public comment in the spring. After the public comment period is closed, FHWA will publish updated final NEVI formula guidance that responds to the comments received.
And you shouldn't be surprised that Zach and I are glad to see this pause in funding is happening. While we were happy to see a federal focus on the need for national EV charging when it passed in 2021, we have not been happy to witness how slowly and expensively this program has rolled out.
Yeah, the federal government has already spent half the money, which is what the government is good at, and only built 126 charging ports.
That is absurd.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I mean, we love electric cars, but this just makes EVs look bad. I mean, imagine the average citizen who doesn't follow this topic closely, right? Who one day learns that the government has spent billions of dollars to build just a handful of charging stations. I knew EVs were bad. Look how expensive the chargers cost us. Gas stations don't cost that much.
And they'd have every right to be mad. But instead of taking it out on the bureaucrats who spent the money so poorly, they'll just think EVs are bad.
This horribly implemented program is a disaster and, in my opinion, should be stopped immediately. If Tesla can do it 1,300 times cheaper, then we should reevaluate whether this program should continue. Tesla has already built over 2,800 Supercharger locations just in the United States. That's over 29,000 Supercharger stalls or ports.
So Tesla installed all of those Superchargers for the cost of just 22 federally funded ports?
That can't be. What?
You said it was 1,300 times cheaper.
I guess it's mind-boggling how much cheaper that is.
I mean, when each port is $26 million or whatever.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, to the uninitiated, though, it looks like the government has been doing a good job of building out EV charging across the country. Like, this is a map from the federal government's website.
What? Oh, so we must be wrong. I mean, this is 75,000 EV chargers across the country.
Not so fast. This map includes not only all the privately funded chargers like Tesla's Superchargers, but also it includes all the level 2 chargers, which, as many of us who understand EVs know, while it's good to have at home and at work, they're not the same as high-speed DC fast chargers pumping out 250 kilowatts or more.
Oh, so this is like all the charge points, the blinks. These weren't installed by the federal government.
No.
Okay, so can you filter out just for the federally funded DC fast charger locations?
Sure, here you go.
There's 6. I can count them. I shouldn't be able to count them. There's 6. Why is there 6?
No, not 6.
This is from their own data.
But we just said that they've built 126 ports a minute ago.
I filtered out the ones that were temporarily closed.
I'm sorry, what? So 28 ports that were federally funded are actually open at the moment.
Yep, according to their own data.
And that cost $3.3 billion?
Look, to be fair, there might be some projects that are in the middle of construction. So, I mean, even if a few hundred more opened up, it's still an outrageous amount of money. Look, we've been doing the show for a decade.
While the Democrats sat in the White House.
To the Republicans sitting in the White House.
Back to the Democrats in the White House.
And now back to the Republicans in the White House.
And we've been reporting on what's actually been going on the whole time.
We're going to tell it like it is, regardless of whose policy it is and who's doing it.
And if you've been watching us over the years now, you know that's true.
So what we care about is transitioning our transportation and energy systems to electric, because electric is cleaner, more sustainable, safer, cheaper, and more efficient.
It's pretty simple, but the reason why it doesn't seem so simple is because there are a lot of people that are being disrupted by this transition.
And many of them have decided that instead of embracing these better electric technologies, they want to delay it from happening by misinforming people. I, for one, would have been happy if the federal government could have built thousands and thousands of EV chargers with this program. I personally think private companies are usually better at doing these things, but I think getting people out of gas cars and into EVs is so important that if the government had pulled it off successfully, I would have been happy. But to waste billions of dollars and not even move the ball is completely unacceptable.
In boring news, this aerial image from the Clark County, Nevada website shows that the Boring Company has begun construction, or rather demolition, on the site at 3824 Paradise Road.
I'm sorry, why are you so boring?
Boring news. Talking about the Boring Company.
Okay.
Pretty boring.
All right, so what's happening at this formerly the Firefly restaurant?
They're going to begin building the second Encore Tunnel Vegas loop. So we're not sure yet if this is going to be an insertion point for the Proof Rock boring machine or if it's a station entrance as well.
You know, this is another one of these exciting stories that legacy media doesn't cover, and only people discover it when they go to Las Vegas and can take the tunnel.
It's very true.
So BYD, the Chinese automaker, has a premium sub-brand called Denza. This here is the Denza Z9 GT introduced late last year. It's a 5-door shooting brake in the UK, or station wagon. They make it in both a BEV and a plug-in hybrid. The BEV has up to 1,000 horsepower for the high-performance version with a 0 to 60 around 3 seconds. And the Z9 gets 391 miles or 630 kilometers on the CLTC cycle.
Oh.
Of course, that's not real. Starting price in China is around $47,000 for the Pro, which is the lowest, and $59,000 for the Ultra, which is the highest.
So why are we discussing the Denza on Into the Future?
Well, because most of us have been faced with this problem at one time or another. So, I mean, I grew up driving in a city with a stick shift, 4 on the floor van, and let me tell you, parallel parking on hills, not fun. But the Denza Z9 has 3 motors, 1 in the front, 2 in the rear, so it can do this.
So it can pull its rear into a parking space. Now, we should mention that, and this is an important point, when you try to move a vehicle in this way, the ground either has to be wet, see that the ground is wet, or it has to be muddy or sandy, slippery enough so that the tires can also slide sideways.
Yeah, and if you watch some of the fan videos out there, when it's not wet, you leave a lot of rubber on the road. Which, I mean, maybe it's worth it to get into that tight space. I don't know. I know a bunch of you are typing in the comments right now, though. The Z9 came out in September. Why are you talking about it now?
Honestly, when we saw the marketing videos, I had a hard time believing that they would sell many, especially with these features at this price point. But they've sold over 10,000, with about 1,500 Z9s sold in January.
And I hear you saying, but Rivian already showed us a tank turn on the R1T, and the GMC Hummer EV can crab walk.
Yep, except that Rivian showed us a tank turn, but never delivered. And the GMC does a crab walk by actually turning the rear wheels, not by slipping them around.
The Z9 does it by rotating the rear 2 motors in opposition with software designed to accomplish this task. And now Denza is planning on selling the Z9 outside of China. They say it's coming to Southeast Asia, Europe, and Australia this year.
And I think it's a competitive price point and could do well in those markets.
Yeah. Tell us what you guys think and if any of you have actually driven in one yet, because they actually did export 20 of them from China. Don't know where they went.
Oh.
Don't know if it was just people who wanted 1,000 horsepower, which you can also get in a Model X.
It's true.
So if you're a regular, then you already know that GM said it would stop funding Cruise automation back in December. Cruise is the 40-person autonomy startup that GM bought back in March of 2016 for $1 billion.
Oh, it was only $1 billion? I mean, that's nothing. That's pocket change.
Well, considering that it cost GM over $9 billion to keep Cruise running, I'd say it is something. In fact, the over $10 billion that it cost GM to buy and keep Cruise running since 2016 was more than GM earned in profit for all of 2023.
But GM must have learned a lot about autonomy that they'll put to good use in building their robotaxi cars, right?
Well, it appears that GM is giving up on making a robotaxi and instead are going to use what they've learned from Cruise to continue with their work on their existing Super Cruise, which is a hands-free driving feature available on some GM models. GM aims to achieve level 3 autonomy in personal vehicles at some point, although they didn't say when.
So let me get this straight. GM spent $10 billion in about 10 years working on trying to achieve full autonomy and is basically given up?
It seems like it.
Unbelievable!
But what about the fancy Origin self-driving vehicle that Cruise announced back in 2020?
Not happening, I guess.
So Cruise had 40 employees when GM bought it. How many did it grow to?
Cruise added a few employees over the years.
Okay. What's a few?
Let me see here. 3,800 employees last year.
3,800 employees. They went from 40 to 3,800. Are you kidding me? And GM just said that it's laying off 50% of the Cruise workers. That means that they're firing 1,900 employees.
Yes, but Cruise will still have 1,900 employees after the layoffs.
And so what will happen to them?
It seems that they'll be absorbed by GM to work in the Super Cruise department.
For all these years on the show, a Cruise referred to this.
Yeah, and from now on, I guess it'll go back to meaning this again.
So they're going to work on Super Cruise.
Yeah.
So to be clear, even though Super Cruise is supposed to be this level 3 autonomy, it's not level 3 in the same way that full self-driving unsupervised is going to get to. It's going to be level 3 on specific highways, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what Super Cruise has been up to this point.
Yeah, it's not driving around in cities. It's just highway. Look, I was surprised that GM actually was smart enough to cut their losses. But then when I learned that they're keeping half the workforce, like, why bother? Why not just cut the workforce back on Cruise and keep trying?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's because you can't effectively lay off an entire 3,800 people. Like,
I think it's also because Kyle Vaught, who is the founder and CEO, left last year. And I think he was probably the driving force, the brains behind the operation. And when he left, I feel like it probably just all fell apart. Wow. All right, it's time for some SpaceX news. And Jeremy, adjusted for inflation Horbidal, said, oh, wow, lots of waste, fraud, and abuse to investigate.
So he's pointing out here that the U.S. federal government has spent $20.1 billion on SpaceX.
Yes, but the Pentagon responded saying that SpaceX actually saved the U.S. taxpayers over $40 billion.
$1 billion.
How do they arrive at that math?
Just one SLS launch by Lockheed Martin Boeing cost billions of dollars versus one SpaceX launch cost less than $75 million.
So, I mean, 20 billion sounds like a big number, but instead of it being for like program development and waste, fraud, and abuse, this was for flights.
Getting actual things into orbit. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like with the Supercharger story. It's like it costs the government so much more than it costs Elon's teams.
Oh, I like money.
SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell responded to SpaceX's $20 billion in government contracts, saying, we earned that. We bid it. We were the lowest price, best bidder. We won and we execute. It's not a bad thing to serve the U.S. government with great capacity and products. You go, girl.
So would you on a plane?
Yes, I could do Starlink on a plane. As we reported, many airlines are now installing Starlinks on their airplanes.
Starlink just posted Starlink is now active on more than 500 planes around the world. Stay connected with high-speed internet from gate to gate, starting the minute you walk on board. But would you on a helicopter?
Well, I'd like to, but can you put Starlink on a helicopter?
Yes, I believe you can, Sam I am. Brian Moore, Executive Director of Marketing and Aerial Production at Terrible Herbst Motorsports, says, another happy customer prepped and ready for KOH, utilizing our Starlink kit mounted to Airfilm V2 pole. They will be live streaming the race tomorrow, changing the game one helicopter at a time.
So that's one of the helicopters they used to film this, the Landshark at the Baja 1000 and the KOH, or King of Hammers race in California.
Yep, that's how they get these amazing shots.
Starlink on a helicopter. I was wondering how you'd do that. You'd either have to mount it in the middle and then it would just be spinning.
Right.
Or be blocked by the blades.
I mean, it's still going to be blocked by the blades a little bit, but I don't think it actually makes that big a difference. So,
right.
Pretty cool.
This photo by RGV Aerial Photography, follow them on X, by the way. So this was Starbase back in January of 2019.
And Elon said we've come a long way.
And look how long they've come. I thought this was CGI. SpaceX posted super heavy moving to the pad at Starbase. And I thought, I don't know, one of the interns just put this together in some...
Isn't that CGI?
No, that's real.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Everyone was commenting like, this is not real. And then, yes, it's real. I mean, it's really well lit and photographed, but... yeah. And if you need another reason why the space industry is important, Elon reposted this from Steve Jurvetson. He used to be on the board at Tesla and he's on the board at SpaceX. He said 1 in 44 chance of a 8 megaton blast by meteorite. Hiroshima was 0.015 megatons for comparison. JWST will try to get a better read on its trajectory and size. If needed, deflection has to occur in 2028, not on final approach like in the movies.
We have less than 72 hours.
Well, let's get looting.
Former NASA astronaut who now spearheads asteroid detection at the nonprofit B612 Foundation posted, B612 Foundation has taken the orbit and uncertainty of asteroid 2024 YR4, sampled 10,000 trajectories from the current uncertainty and propagated them forward. 2.3% of those hit the Earth on December 22nd, 2032. And here's where they hit.
So space is planning on nuking us in 7 years?
Potentially.
I mean, it's not a nuke, it's an asteroid.
Right.
But it would have the power of a big nuke.
Bada big boom.
And it could hit any of those red dots.
That's the planar trajectory.
Okay, that's a little scary. I want to talk about B612. What is that?
The B612 Foundation got its name from the asteroid B612 in that story. It's a famous novel from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, The Little Prince. So in that story, the Little Prince hails from asteroid B612, which symbolizes the small, often overlooked, but significant elements of our universe. So the Foundation chose its name to reflect their mission of focusing on small celestial bodies like asteroids, which are critical for planetary defense, but often underappreciated.
So I get that a 2% chance of hitting isn't extremely high.
But if it could cause like damage to the Earth.
Right. I mean, that would basically obliterate a giant city.
Right.
What are we doing about this?
Well, Elon posted starships on Mars, or even better, stationed throughout the asteroid belt, would be ideal for protecting Earth from asteroids and especially comets. But everyone just says, well, he just wants to go to Mars.
Elon Musk.
He doesn't care. He just wants to leave and have a big mansion.
He should just focus on Earth.
Yeah.
On behalf of the American people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to be thanking him in a few years.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's time for Into the Future.
Escape into the future.
Sponsored by our friends at Henson Shaving.
Go get your razor today. It is the best one in the world. If you use our code, now you know at checkout, you can get 100 blades for free.
So Ferrari's CEO, Benedetto Vigna, has announced that it plans to release its first battery electric vehicle later this year on October 9th in Italy. In fact, Ferrari says that they plan to release 6 new battery electric vehicle models this year.
Now, a lot of people thought that this camouflaged Ferrari spotted on the roads recently is that new model. Not true. It is electric and probably the powertrain for the new electric Ferrari, but this is a Maserati Levante body. Pretty sure Ferrari isn't going to be launching a Maserati.
Yeah, Maserati is owned by Stellantis, by the way, and Ferrari is publicly owned, although 10% of it is still owned by Piero Ferrari, the son of the founder, Enzo Ferrari. Ferrari hasn't given us any clue as to what the battery electric vehicle stats will be or even what kind of model it'll be, but they do say that it will be launched in a unique and innovative way.
Oh, great. I love it when things are launched in a unique and innovative way.
Maybe they'll hire Harrison Ford for $8 billion like they did at the Super Bowl. Oh, no, that was Stellantis.
That was $8 billion?
Mm-hmm. It was a 2-minute commercial.
Oh, well, they didn't spend it just on Harrison.
No, I'm sure he got just a measly few million.
So obviously Ferrari is a boutique automaker selling about 14,000 vehicles per year, so they likely won't be selling more than a couple thousand of this new model.
It's also possible that we will see the next-gen Roadster from Tesla coming out starting at the end of this year if Elon sticks to his latest timeline. And I think that when that car comes out, it's going to best all of these new entrants into the EV market, even Ferrari.
I actually think that it would be really great if Ferrari came out with one of their cars and then, or even, it doesn't really matter the timing, but then Tesla also came out with the Roadster. Because I think right now, if Tesla came out with the Roadster, everyone would go like, wow, it's the fastest car in the world. That's amazing. And they might compare it to all the cars that we've seen them beat all the time. Because, I mean, the Plaid basically beats the pants off pretty much all cars, especially in its price range. I know that there are some cars that it doesn't beat. I'm assuming that the Roadster is going to beat the pants off of everything. And having that story about a new Ferrari that Tesla beats would be a huge positive story for Tesla, in my opinion.
All right, it's time for Going Green. So we've got 2 electric firsts here on Going Green today. The first, we've got this.
Is that an electric locomotive?
Kind of. The Port of Baltimore has announced a first for the U.S. maritime industry, a battery electric rail car mover. This is the Zephyr LOK 16.150E, E for electric. Why do they have to name them so dumb? I mean, just like does not roll off the tongue.
It's not, you're not going to go down to the dealership and buy one.
I'd like a 16.150E. It's going to move freight cars around the port with its 80-volt battery system, which seemed kind of low to me, but I guess it's a train, so you don't have to. 0 emissions, by the way, and it saves 16,000 gallons of diesel fuel a year.
May not seem like a big deal, but the Port of Baltimore employs over 15,000 people.
Now, I'm not saying all of them are directly going to be working near this rail car mover, but hundreds of people are. And the difference between breathing in 13.8 tons of nitrous oxide per year, along with PM 2.5 particles and all that, why would you want to do that working around a loud, stinky diesel engine? Well, let's just say I know which dock I want to work at.
Okay, what's the second first?
How about this? Malagan, a global airport ground support equipment manufacturer, just launched their first fully electric refrigerated catering truck, which is made for the aviation industry. This is the so well-named CT6000E.
E for electric.
And it was unveiled at our own Logan Airport in Boston.
That's smart.
It's wicked smart.
135 miles of range with 210 kilowatt hour battery pack.
If you guys see it at Logan Airport, take a picture and send it to us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com.
Thank you to Climatize for sponsoring today's show.
Climatize is a way for individuals to have access to solar energy projects that are raising funds.
Climatize just hit the $7 million investment milestone with a $1.7 million return to investors.
Their platform is super easy to use. You can simply go to climatize.earth/NYK. You set up an account. If you choose to invest, then you can do so with as little as $10. There are no investor fees, and this is open to all U.S. bank account holders over the age of 18. You don't need to be accredited or anything special.
You can look through their investment offerings and choose a project you'd like to support. Investment offerings on their platform have the ability to pay up to 10% annual target return.
Yes, you heard that right. You can potentially earn up to a 10% annual return, and you're investing your money in solar energy projects around the U.S.
Beyond solar energy projects, Climatize is now offering investors opportunities to fund both energy efficiency projects in the form of heat pump upgrades for buildings and EV charging station projects across the U.S.
Thanks to Climatize for sponsoring the show. Visit climatize.earth/NYK or download the app and use the code NYK025 for a $25 free credit once you complete the onboarding process.
All right, it's time for our video contributor story. What do we got this week, Jess?
Adam in Ontario is showing off his Bolt charging at a supercharger.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, and now you know viewers. Adam back here, longtime viewer, big time fan. I'm currently located at Ontario, Canada's first V4 supercharger, located in Ingersoll, Ontario, just down the road from London's V3 supercharger, which can get very slammed during busy times. So this is excellent to see. It's an amazing improvement. The reliability of Tesla's supercharger network is unmatched. I'm sure there's plenty of like 100 or 200 brilliant engineers to thank, but thank you so much for blazing the trail, Tesla, for us in the EV community in North America. And thank you for opening up access to other EVs. That's incredible. It really helps open our world to road trip possibilities. So thank you so much. This V4 supercharger is located in the same parking lot as a Burger King, Subway, Pizza Hut, Bar Burrito. So there's washrooms, there's food, there's everything you need. It's just off Highway 401. Brilliant location. There are 16 bays, 12 are currently functional, and they are sporadically dispersed throughout the parking lot to allow some towing, which is fantastic. But I also would like to say that even though I'm currently driving a Chevy Bolt EUV, I am not Tesla's enemy. In fact, my next vehicle may very well be a Model Y Juniper with FSD. I want that FSD. I want to tow 3,500 pounds. I want more cargo space. So that's probably the direction I'm headed in with my next vehicle. So please don't attack me if I'm charging at a V3 supercharger double parked because the cable's too short. In fact, I think it might be a good idea for Tesla to charge other automakers to lengthen the cable length of the V3 superchargers to smooth out the charging experience. Some Cybertruck owners are reporting that they're not happy supercharging because they have to park an inch from the post, which doesn't sound ideal. So if we lengthen V3 cables, Cybertruck owners will be happier and we'll have less EVs double parked. Win-win. Thank you so much. Overall, I'm abundantly grateful for this opportunity. Tesla, you rock. Thank you, Zach and Jesse, for letting me speak. And until next time, keep cruising.
So, I mean, Adam brings up a good point. If you lengthen those cables, then it would be easy for everybody. So why isn't Tesla doing it? I just don't think it's as easy as just lengthening them. I think there's three reasons why Elon's probably not going to do it. One is cost. Two is neatness. I know that Elon likes to have nice, neat superchargers. But three is, and here's where I need you guys to help me. Longer the cable, higher the loss. So electrical engineers out there, comment down below with the math. Is it much more lossy to lengthen the cable by, say, a couple meters? Or am I wrong?
I think that the problem would be not only the loss, but where does the loss go? And that would be in the cable, which means that now you're heating up the cable even more, which means that you're going to have to redesign the entire thing.
But, I mean, I guess my question is, depending on where you put one of these stations, you have to put trenching and conduit and lines, right? And so isn't there a lot of extra cable sometimes, depending on the site?
I think it really depends on where the DC conversion is taking place.
Oh, right, because it all takes place really close. I see. Yeah, well, anyway, that's why we need you guys, so comment down below. And don't forget to send us your video contributor stories to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. We've got a lot of them just for you patrons, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. Support us for as little as $1 a month, and you can see all of what we're about to do. Video contributor stories, by the way, are sponsored this week by Olivium.
Oh, is that fancy hot sauce that we've been enjoying for the past couple weeks?
Yeah. The owner, Lee, he's a longtime viewer of the show. He reached out to us about his premium hot sauce. Now, I'm not usually a hot sauce kind of guy, but I gotta say, I've been using it a bunch on all my meals this past week, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's not overwhelming. It's got a fantastic flavor that enhances so many dishes. Order a bottle today and use our link to save even more and support the work that we do on this show.
It makes a great gift too. And by the way, Lee is giving our viewers 30% off if you go there right now. So head on over there, help support the show, and get a really great either gift for yourself or for someone else. All right, we're back from a Patreon bonus stories. It's time for a Patreon poll. You can join our Patreon, and for $2 a month, you can join our poll and answer questions like this.
What would you like Optimus to do for you?
Well, the winner is general housework. That makes a lot of sense. Followed closely by outdoor work. I can imagine all that lawn mowing and landscaping work.
And then we have labor for businesses.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But not a lot of people want Optimus to babysit.
And not a lot of people want it for dog walking. That's interesting. I mean, that's what you want to do. Let the robot do all the housework, and then you can play with your baby.
Right.
That's the whole point.
All right, it's time for Elon's X's of the week. Buckle up.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
Now, a former Tesla software engineer, Thomas Shed, has been tapped by Elon Musk to become the new director of Technology Transformation Services, which is a group at the General Services Administration. The group includes around 700 engineering professionals, many of them picked by Elon himself. Shed recently told staffers at the TTS that AI will play a crucial role in cost reduction efforts in the government. So you've probably heard by now about the 6 young engineers that Elon has chosen to head up DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency. Here are their real names. We're going to be talking about one of these young engineers, Luke Farrader, on Patreon bonus stories this week. But Elon's been laughing all week as legacy media has reported on them using their silly nicknames.
We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big balls.
Big Balls, who worked for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE.
In the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online. Big Balls here that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about big balls, big balls, big balls?
Okay, so buckle up for some Elon posts related to his work investigating shady shenanigans at different federal agencies this week.
Elon, of course, changed his title to White House Tech Support this week. And Daniel says, Luke, being one of the engineers we're going to talk about this week, being in charge of our money is an incredible shift. I didn't know this was an option. Amazing development.
And Elon says some real aces in Doge.
And then there's been this meme going around about who are these 6 little boys? And this meme came up. Who are these little boys?
Right. We usually see these pictures of old white men who founded our country. Well, they were not old when they started it. They were still white men, but they were 20, 21, 18, 25 years old.
James Monroe's 18. And Elon said, indeed. Elon said, time to confess. Media reports saying that Doge has some of the world's best software engineers are in fact true. Walter Bloomberg posted, Mexican President Sheinbaum, we categorically reject U.S. statement that Mexico has ties to drug cartels.
And Elon laughed because that's ridiculous.
And by the way, all those stories we had last week about the tariffs, well, those got settled rather quickly, didn't they? Yeah, and the president of Mexico posted all this, that basically she's going to work with President Trump now, and the tariffs have been removed, and Elon said,
amazing.
Mike Ben says, case in point, AOC promoting U.S. aid all over X today actually came from USAID program in college to jumpstart her miracle political career.
And Elon said AOC is a stooge of USAID.
Madam Bay says, I don't get it. Why is USAID funding BBC News?
Elon said USAID and other government agencies are funding media groups around the world.
Charlie says, I bet Elon got to DC, asked where all the money was going, and nobody could answer. So he asks how payments are made, and it turns out one department does them all. Obviously, he's like, great, there. I want to go there.
Elon said, yeah, exactly. The only way to stop fraud and waste of taxpayer money is to follow the payment flows and pause suspicious transactions for review, obviously. Naturally, this causes those who have been aiding, abetting, and receiving fraudulent payments very upset. Too bad.
Elon posted this meme. How many countries tax their citizens and send money to the United States? Just wondering. Kanoko the Great says, breaking, Representative Jamie Raskin blasts Elon Musk outside USAID headquarters, declaring that Democrats will block Doge from eliminating government waste and fraud.
Elon said the corrupt politicians protesting outside the USAID building are the ones getting the money from USAID. That's why they're there. They want your stolen tax dollars.
Elon said all Doge did was check to see which federal organizations were violating the president's executive orders the most. Turned out to be USAID, so that became our focus. Reagan campaigned on ending the Federal Department of Education, which was created by Carter in 1979, but it was bigger when Reagan left office than when he started. Not this time. President Trump will succeed. Elon went on to say fraud in the federal government is closer to 10% of disbursement, so more like $700 billion per year. Outright waste is at least 15%, so another $1 trillion+ dollars. Anyone who works in government knows this. Elon went on to say Doge is not looked at, nor is there any interest in private financial data. What would we even do with it? Our outgoing payment review process just looks at potential fraud and wasteful spending to organizations. Corrupt politicians are the ones complaining. I wonder why. Holmar's catalog says, oh, you thought Elon was going to prepare a report in a few years instead of starting the spending cuts immediately? You must not know Elon very well.
Elon said reports are worthless.
Tim Walz says Elon Musk is a terrible president.
Elon said bathroom needs a refill.
Chuck Schumer says an unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. DOGE is not a real government agency. DOGE has no authority to make spending decisions.
Elon said hysterical reactions like this is how you know that DOGE is doing work that really matters. This is the one shot that the American people have to defeat bureaucracy, rule of the bureaucrats, and restore democracy, rule of the people. We are never going to get another chance like this. It's now or never. Your support is crucial to the success of the revolution of the people.
He went on to say, oh, look, it's an insurrection. The radical left put a lot of innocent people in prison for exactly this behavior. Jason DeBolt said, Elon is attacking corruption, and corruption is attacking Elon. It's as simple as that.
Elon said that is exactly what is happening.
He went on to say, when Senator Joni Ernst asked to review USAID financials, they threatened to sue her. Now, why would a U.S. taxpayer-funded organization do such a thing? Corruption. And he posted this meme, from now on, money laundering will be called foreign aid. Elon said roughly $15 billion a year is spent on utilities and maintenance of unused U.S. government buildings domestically and internationally. If they want to cancel DOGE in exchange for deleting everything in the federal government that isn't explicit law passed by Congress, I would gladly take that deal, but they would never do it, not in a million years. Went on to show this. Did you know that over $100 billion in COVID payments was stolen by professional foreign fraud rings? And look at some of the names. PPP.LLC, Rent LLC. They're stealing your Hubcaps Incorporated, The System LLC, and Lobster. There were some other great names in there I couldn't put in here, though, by the way. Mike Benz posted, the censors are now the ones getting demonetized. Oh, the irony.
Elon said how the tables have turned.
Elon said, obviously, DOGE is trying to stop your tax dollars from being stolen for waste and fraud. Representative Jeffries wants that to continue. Charlie Kirk said, so let me get this straight. USAID has been spending millions of taxpayer dollars every year funding not only the BBC, but also Politico?
Elon said many media outlets are going to experience a mysterious drop in revenue.
Mary Nafal said, FDA drops $517,000 on Politico subscriptions. Government waste at its finest. 37 FDA employees got Politico Pro subscriptions, costing taxpayers over $500,000.
Elon says, not an efficient use of taxpayer funds. This wasteful expenditure will be deleted.
Kyle Becker says, it's not just Politico. The Associated Press has been raking in millions of dollars in government money for years. The AP's bias also makes perfect sense.
Elon says, not for long. This is obviously a huge waste of taxpayer money.
And this, DOGE aids search Medicare agency payment systems for fraud.
Elon says, yeah, this is where the big money fraud is happening.
And then Elon said, what do you think of my t-shirt? Elon said, my guess is that about 20% of legacy media funding is from the government in one form or another, and it should be zero. Elon said,
she comes to me on this day of my Doge's wedding and makes these demands. But does she call me the Doge father? Is she even a friend? Buonasera, buonasera.
Empress Heavy said, please wear this outfit.
Elon said, okay. Ashley Vance says, is this legit? Did NASA spend $500,000 on Politico subscriptions?
And Elon reposted Doge. NASA leadership has verified that this was canceled today.
Steve Ratner says, just a reminder that Musk's companies have received over $15 billion from the U.S. government. He's happy to go after USAID, but not the agencies that have been feeding him. And Dennis says the Department of Defense has stated that SpaceX and SpaceX-related companies have saved the government over $20 billion compared to similar contracts to Boeing and other defense contractors. You know this, yet you still put this out there. Why?
Elon said because he's paid to push partisan propaganda.
Elon Musk posted this. Why did Democrat Senator Durbin block release of the Epstein client list? What is he hiding? And then Ian Jagger says, breaking, Senator Durbin calls for releasing the Epstein files to the public.
And Elon said, cool.
Zuby says, is it real? Are they actually draining the swamp?
Elon said, yes. You can tell by how upset the swamp creatures are.
Scott Adams says, I'm starting to think eliminating fraud would balance the entire budget.
Elon says, probably fixes 1/3 to maybe 1/2 the deficit.
Elon posted this. When you're finding fraud and somebody else stop, that's who's doing the fraud. He went on to say, doesn't it seem odd that none of the supposed beneficiaries of USAID are complaining, just the government-funded NGOs? Donald Trump posted, balanced budget.
Elon says balanced budget is going to happen.
Then this was posted on the Congressional Budget Office website. As Mary Nafal says, Congress funneled $516 billion into expired programs with zero oversight in 2024.
And Elon said, this is so crazy.
There are tens of millions of media and software subscriptions paid by the federal government, your tax dollars, that show zero usage.
So it's not even like the government employees were like, oh, let me see what's going on. Let me keep informed.
Most accounts had never been logged into.
What?
Elon says the Democratic Party still doesn't realize how many Americans they have alienated with their shady, ironically undemocratic tactics. Against the wishes of their electorate, they stopped Bernie from being the candidate several years ago, then trashed RFK very unfairly, and then switched Kamala for Biden without even holding a primary. Now they are relentlessly trashing Doge, which is just trying to stop fraud, waste, and abuse of your taxpayer dollars and report back to the public with maximum transparency. It's messed up. Then Elon said this is an activist posing as a judge because he wanted to stop the Secretary of the Treasury from even being able to look at their payments going out. And this from an Obama-appointed judge who wanted to keep the Treasury Secretary from looking at the payments going out at the Treasury Department.
Elon said this ruling is absolutely insane. How on earth are we supposed to stop fraud and waste of taxpayer money without looking at how the money is spent?
And then Elon posted this, and he pinned it. So to be clear, what the Doge team and U.S. Treasury have jointly agreed makes sense is the following. Require that all outgoing government payments have a payment categorization code, which is necessary in order to pass financial audits. This is frequently left blank, making audits almost impossible. 2, all payments must also include a rationale for the payment in the comment field, which is currently left blank. Importantly, we are not yet applying any judgment to this rationale, but simply requiring that some attempt be made to explain the payment more than nothing. And do not pay list of entities known to be fraudulent or people who are dead or are probable fronts for terrorist organizations or do not match congressional appropriations must actually be implemented and not ignored. Also, it can currently take up to a year to get on this list, which is far too long. This list should be updated at least weekly, if not daily. The above super obvious and necessary changes are being implemented by existing long-time career government employees, not anyone from Doge. It is ridiculous that these changes didn't exist already. Yesterday, I was told that there are currently over $100 billion a year of entitlement payments to individuals with no social security number or even a temporary ID number. If accurate, this is extremely suspicious. When I asked if anyone at Treasury had a rough guess for what percentage of that number is unequivocal and obvious fraud, the consensus in the room was about half. So $50 billion a year or $1 billion a week. This is utterly insane and must be addressed immediately.
Elon said the Dems are trying to hide possibly the biggest fraud scheme in human history.
Elon said, just learned that the Social Security database is not deduplicated, meaning you can have the same Social Security number many times over, which further enables massive fraud. Your tax dollars are being stolen. The reason the radical Dems don't want an audit of Social Security fraud is because they're the ones getting it. Mays says, so they designed Treasury payments the same way they designed the voting system, impossible to audit? Elon said the best way to understand the system is that it's designed for complaint minimization. People don't complain if they receive money, but do complain loudly, especially fraudsters, if they don't receive money. Therefore, everything is geared towards sending out the money, even if wasteful or fraudulent. And he went on to say, is the left really just a giant kleptocracy? The evidence increasingly suggests it is. I'd like to propose that the worst 1% of appointed judges, as determined by elected bodies, be fired every year. This will weed out the most corrupt and least competent.
Wow.
Not a lot of Tesla stuff in there this week.
Not a lot of Tesla stuff.
He's a busy guy.
He is busy.
All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Michelle went for a Cybertruck test drive and got us this picture.
Brian spotted this in Dallas, Texas.
Scott spotted this extremely rare EV, the ID Buzz.
James's son spotted the Cybertruck in Stone Oaks, Texas.
Whoa, look at that roof rack.
That is cool. Ryan and Mathis were traveling from Rochester to Buffalo and saw so many Cybertrucks.
Oh my God, it's all Cybertrucks.
Yo.
Bro. 1, 2, 3, 4 Cybertrucks. One for each of us. Oh my God, it's awesome. Whoa, holy smokes, it's awesome.
Wow, a truck of Cybertrucks.
Remine traveled 900 kilometers to see the Model 3 just outside Manila in the Philippines. He should be coming out with a video contributor story soon. Can't wait to see it.
Cody and Risa got these shots of EVs in San Diego. Unfortunately, that's a gas quad, but it is an EV towing it.
Richard spotted this in California.
And just a little tip, putting googly eyes on cars is very fun.
Archie spotted this Starlink launch over La Jolla, California. Wow, that is cool. I bet a lot of people called in aliens that day.
And Jed wanted to show us his crew transportation vehicle. So we've seen a couple of these, and that's because if you have a Model X, you're just a few decals away from a SpaceX-approved crew transport vehicle, which I think is really cool.
All right, so it's time for EV Tip of the Week.
And here's a tip for Tesla full self-driving drivers.
So in some of the latest releases, like 13.2, Tesla has taken away the ability to control how much space there is between you and the car in front of you. So whether you're driving on the highway or on a back road, if you feel like Tesla's following too closely, you can try to switch it into chill. But I found that often, especially when it's raining or snowing, it still doesn't feel like it's enough distance between the two cars. But what you can do is with the right scroll wheel, you can dial back the maximum speed until it kind of creeps you back a bit. It's not the perfect solution because that max speed changes as you enter new spots on the map, but it can help you to keep the distance safe without having to take it out of FSD each time.
I think that Tesla did a great job with autopilot way back in 2016, where you were able to give basically the number of car lengths from 1 to like 7. You know, for the most part, gave it a good feel in terms of like what your comfort level was.
Yeah, because I think version 13.2 does not take into account weather yet. And so it just thinks it's a sunny, beautiful day. You can be this far from that car in front of you. When it's snowing out, no, you cannot. And so I'm very hopeful that obviously this will be fixed in the future. But in the meantime, it would be nice to be able to back off a bit. All right, it's time for our Supercharger reviews. Let's see what people have found out there in the world.
All right, I'm going to do this kind of fast because it's windy and cold. It's 11 degrees out here in Thornton, New Hampshire at an 8-stall supercharger, which is about 1.2 miles off the highway. So I wouldn't highly recommend this in the winter because if it was snowy on the ground, it would be not the easiest to get to. But if you need it, you need it. And the good thing is it's a version 3, so it's 250 kilowatts of charging, so you get plenty of charging speed. There's not much amenities around here. There is a golf course and stuff like that, so maybe you could go to the bathroom, but nothing really close to where we are other than these homes. So I would say if you need amenities, this is not the one to stop at. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, how is it going? I'm here in Florence, South Carolina, about a mile, less than a mile off of I-95, and I'm here at a Tesla supercharging station that has 16 stalls, 250 kilowatt capability, and very convenient to get to. And one of the nice amenities is a Buc-ee's very close by. Great place to go get some barbecue, some brisket. And I'm going to give this place a 9 out of 10. Wow, it's really clean. It's really easy to get to. And the Buc-ee's is great too. Now you know.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. This is Paul Smith in Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, we're just outside of Nashville in Brentwood, and we are at a multi-stall unit here in Brentwood in the Target parking lot right here. It is a very nice location. It's Longhorn. We got Longhorn right there behind me. Over here, we got multiple restaurants over here. This is a very large supercharger network. There are multiple aisles on multiple lanes. And as you can see, there's not that many hooked up. There's my Cybertruck here. And we just pulled right in. It was awesome. I would rate this an 8 out of 10. Thank you. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Joel here again from Lubbock. On my trip from Dallas in Santo, Texas. It's got, looks like a 20 stall supercharger. I'm using my Monkey with the adapter. I'm loving the adapter. As far as this spot, it's right up the highway, but this gas station's horrible. It's got a Sonic, which is decent, but the restrooms inside are out of order for men. So you have to use an outhouse, and it's pretty gross and not kept up well. So I recommend not using the restroom here if you can avoid it. There's a Sonic. There's some food options nearby if you want to drive over, bring it over to stop here to charge. That's great. But as far as off the highway, it's decent. Bathroom's pretty bad. Food options are decent. I would give this a 2 out of 10, maybe a 3, given the location.
I know.
Thank you so much for doing Supercharger reviews. We have a whole spot on our website where you can review them yourself and you can see what everybody else reviewed. It's on a map, so it's easy to see.
Yeah, go to nowyouknowchannel.com. All right, what do we got for new superchargers in the world?
We've got number 532 in California is the 15 stall version 4 in Los Osos, California.
We have an expansion from 16 to 32 stalls version 3 and 4 in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
We have the 12 stall version 4 in Bridgend, UK.
We got the 20 stall version 3 in Costa Mesa, California.
Number 65 in Georgia Georgia is the 16-stall version 4 at Lake Park, Georgia.
We have the 6-stall version 4 in Bankstown, New South Wales, Australia.
Number 177 in the UK, number 1,383 in Europe is the 8-stall version 4. It's one of the on-the-move ones at the Birmingham Airport Services, UK.
Number 52 in Nevada, number 2550 in the USA is the 16-stall version 4 in Las Vegas on Charleston Boulevard.
And number 111 in Australia and 7,043 in the world is the 4-stall version 4 in Narrabri, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us today.
Show 440. I mean, this was a bit tough one to put out because Jesse's under the weather this week. Thank you for muscling through. The show must go on, right?
It is such a weird journey that we've been on. We started when it seemed like there wasn't enough news on EVs and sustainable energy every week, and now we can't fit it all. Yet it feels like very few people in the world actually hear about it.
And that's why we appreciate you, those who watch till the very end. These awesome Patreon supporters that you see here, they keep us going. And you can join us and get our exclusive Patreon bonus stories every week when you do, all for just $1 a month.
Thank you so much for watching. Join us next week.
Now you know.